Hi everyone, Matt Bernier, Dan Illman, taking a look back at the Grade 3 Futurity from Belmont Park this past Saturday afternoon. 2-year-olds going 6 furlongs on the main track. Not a big field, but you had some talented runners in here. And Chad Brown, he's factoring all over the country. They break from the gate. You're going to notice, taking a look on the outside, horse breaks really sharp. That's a horse called Engage, but Jose Ortiz is very comfortable just taking him back a few lengths off.
And we talk about it a lot in our stakes previews and here on Weekend Wrap. In sprint races with short fields, when you break from the outside, you are controlling the race when you have tactical speed. That doesn't mean that you're controlling the race up front, but you're controlling the flow of the race. Jose sees how he is able to position this. There is not a lot of pace. He gets this horse in behind horses, and now he's just waiting for a seam.
You have Red Peril on the front right now being pushed throughout by Mojo-Vation. In behind horses is Barry Lee, the number 3 horse. And meanwhile, all things are just going fine and dandy right now for Engage. Jose's just waiting for a scene. The same thing for Joel Rosario and Barry Lee. But I think the difference is Jose at least gets to get the jump, I think.
Agreed. Jose right here has the seam. Barry Lee still kind of waiting. That seam a little bit tighter than the one from Engage, and now Engage is gone. Both of these horses showed a great amount of professionalism for 2-year-olds, the willingness to sit in behind horses. Usually these precocious horses, they go. They waited, they finished. Engage has a little bit of an annoying habit that he drifts out at the end of his races, but still, he stays on his right lead. He stays strong to the wire. Barry Lee tried hard. Good performance from both of these 2-year-olds.
Engage prevails as the 1-2 favorite here in the Futurity, pays $3.10. Barry Lee, the runner-up, the number 3 horse, $3.20 to place. Mojo-Vation, $2.10 to show. Your 50-cent try, $3.40. Engage really hasn't done a heck of a lot wrong. He's 2 for 3 lifetime, never been out of the exacta for Chad. Woodford Racing, you see the pedigree into mischief out of a Spitestown mare. Chad has said the Nashua seems like the next logical spot for this horse. Keep him around 1 turn for now.
Keep him around 1 turn, keep him away from Bolt Doro,
yes,
and everything's going to be fine. If you run him in the Nashua and he does well there, there's no reason to think, well, he doesn't get a chance in the Remsen, sort of the feature race for 2-year-olds in New York over the winter time. Engage's first race, I liked a lot at Saratoga. His second race, the race he won, his maiden win, he had just a beautiful trip, tracking a pace duel, and then he finished while doing his usual antics in the stretch, drifting. This was a really rock-solid performance, and you got to think, with the state of the 2-year-olds in New York right now, that Nashua could be ripe for the picking for Engage.
Came home in 12-2, which is a very fast time, particularly on the dirt. For what it's worth, an 84 buyer, so he's already fast. He's already fast as a 2-year-old is concerned. A 107 Timeform US rating. Barry Lee, the runner-up, a 76 buyer, a 103 Timeform US rating. Interesting that Horatio De Paz added blinkers for the first time here on the heels of a victory out at Arlington on the synthetic where he came from off the pace. I have to be honest, I've always been a fan of this horse. I think he's going the right direction. Maybe he's not taking the giant leaps forward, but slowly but surely, like you say, the professionalism, and now he can rate off the pace. I think there's a lot to like.
I think the only reason we got the blinkers on was because at the end of the Arlington, Washington Futurity, after he took over, I think he was looking around a little bit and idling once he made the lead, and I think the connections here said we didn't want that. But here, he wasn't idling at all. He was trying hard in the stretch, just second best to Engage. And we've done a lot with Barry Lee. We've sprinted him on the dirt. We've run him on synthetic. We've run him back here now with blinkers. He's nice. I'd like to keep him sprinting. I'm sure the Nashua was a very tempting spot. A 1-turn mile might be within his scope, but I think this is what he's going to be, a 6-furlong horse.
He's run well enough on the dirt, don't get me wrong, but considering his big race to date came at Arlington over the synth, his dam was awesome on the synthetic. Violence, his sire, we know what he was capable of. He won the Cash Call Futurity back at Hollywood Park on the synth. Do you think at some point you have to try Barry Lee on the turf?
I think you're probably going to try him at some point on the turf, but right now the money is on the dirt. And Barry Lee's performance in the Futurity probably took him to the Nashua. Now, if he bombs in the Nashua, there are a lot of options, obviously. Probably a little rest, take him down to Gulfstream Park. 7.5 on the turf might be nice for him going 2 turns.
If you're Todd with Mojo-Vation, this is a horse that his debut was good. I don't want to call it spectacular, but then he came back and he bombed when he tried tougher. And now in this spot here, very underwhelming. What do you do with him?
His debut was overrated. He came into his debut and the word was out that Mojo-Vation was going to be the next future star for Todd. And he won in gate-to-wire fashion, and he got a good figure. But when you watched the race, it was more workmanlike than brilliant. And it was on the heels of an inside speed favoring track, and he went wire to wire. His hopeful was very disconcerting, where there was no speed whatsoever and no response. And you had the feeling in the back of your mind, Todd running here instead of the Champagne was sort of the sign. He still isn't sure which Mojovation is the right Mojovation. Boy, maybe he just needs to stretch out. At this point, maybe he just needs a break. He's not that good.
Engage, a very talented 2-year-old for Chad Brown. Sounds like they're going to keep him around 1 turn for now, run him in the Nashua next time out. He wins the Grade 3 Futurity with an 84 Beyer speed figure.